Okay, there. Um, yes, with the courses. First off, until you don't have to send proof of the exams. When you take a test, you don't have to send me proof that you or your scratch paper, because I've been having great responses and questions so far with everybody doing the quizzes that I trust everybody, and I have no reason to think you guys would lie, cheat, steal on the exams. Um, uh, Another thing, how many of y'all think we should have regular classes as opposed to just work at your own pace? And if you have questions, we can Zoom or answer questions on uh, Remind. Anybody feel one way or the other?
I feel working at our own pace is a good way to get the work done, just because I feel everyone's busy with their own thing. And I feel the Remind's a really good thing to contact you easily.
Perfect. Yes, that was my thought originally, because and y'all see that how fast Remind really is. Once you send me a message within, I mean, sometimes it was within minutes or seconds that I responded to everybody. So yeah, so let's just do that way. Everybody work at your own pace, and if you want to have a meeting, I I'm available pretty much anytime you want to. I was in discussion last night till about 1:30 last night with a student, working through some questions on the quiz. So that's that's looking good so far. Then, um, with the um, I wish I could get into my my access. It's not doing it. So, oh well. Yeah. And let me show you what else. Okay. Ah, damn it. It's not coming up again. Yeah. So with the syllabus, there are three ways you can get a hold of me: Remind, email, which is very slow because I can't even get on eCampus or eConnect right through it now because of the storm. And there's also in the syllabus, there's a phone number. If you need to talk in private about something that's going on, then you can use that phone number. The one on the far right, the one that's my classroom, my office, that one nobody checks anymore because we're not allowed to our offices till next fall. So there's three ways you can get a hold of me. Uh, Second, the deadline for all assignments is the last day of the semester. For the education courses, that's the 1st of July. For my DMAT course, that's at the end of the semester. I think it was August 6th, 7th, or 8th, something like that. So I nothing will be required as deadline until the end of the semester, because at that point I can't do anything else about it. It shuts itself off. For my education courses, the 1350 course, I'm going to set up the 1351 for whoever's with taking it with me. So as soon as you finish the 1350 course, you can start the 1351 course anytime you want to. All right. So that is, again, it's at your own pace. And if you have any questions, again, I'm always going to be here. Uh, oh, yes. So the discussions. How many of y'all think we should have a discussion board on the computer on eCampus? I've had our questions both ways.
I mean, it's your preference. I don't mind the discussions. I seen them online. I wanted to ask about the quizzes and the
Okay.
test. Um, I seen them online. I was going through some of them, and I was kind of getting stuck on some of them, and I was trying to figure out, should I focus more like um on the quizzes, I'm talking about the practice quizzes. I know they're not for a grade, but I was trying to, should I focus more on that, and then like after I kind of master it a little bit, take the test, or should I focus on the chapter tests more?
Excellent point. The homework is the most important because that walks you through the process and how to enter the answers in the computer.
Mhm.
The quizzes that are online, if you have quizzes, those I'm going to use as bonus points.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna, instead of make 100, I'm gonna take 10% of that, which is 10. I'll add those 10 points to your test grade. So that it's just for your own practice. But
Okay.
the most important part is the actual exam itself, because the exam itself, each exam counts as its own grade. The
Okay.
homeworks are the average of all your assignments. So let's say we have 30 assignments, take the average of that, and that's your grade. So it's the weight of each assignment there isn't that heavy. So the exams are the biggest point getters.
Okay.
So yeah, but you have to know how to enter the information into the computer, which is what the homeworks work you through.
Mhm.
Which is also why I gave everybody 3 tries at each exam.
Okay.
For the exams, you have 3 tries. So that way, don't stress it too much. If you don't get it right the first time, find out what
And
you did
that's what I'm
wrong.
stressing about, cause my test taking, like, I be like, I be stressed, and especially with math, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. I'm literally freaking out.
Thank you for being honest. No, no, and that's exactly why I don't want. I would rather not have a set class period, because then everybody in there and a lot of people will be embarrassed or ashamed to. I don't understand how you got that. So, but if we work alone at our own pace, then
Mhm.
again, if I'm awake at midnight or 1 o'clock when you get off work or get home or wherever, and send me a message, and we could even meet then at that time.
Okay.
On weekends as well. I
Okay.
am available. The only time I'm not available is if I have, like, I'm with my dad. My dad's 93 years old, and I take him swimming in the evening times for a couple of hours.
Okay.
So if I'm home, I'll respond to your remind message, and then we could Zoom there. If I don't respond, then don't get on your Zoom just yet.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, anytime, day or night, weekend or not, I'm yours. So yeah, so work at your own pace, and if you get really stuck, then that's what I'm here for. I mean, today what I'm going to go through today is we're going to look at the basic rules of math first after we go through the concepts of the syllabus. So, as you see in the syllabus, also how to figure out your grade. This is the important thing. The grades that are on eCampus are not going to be the accurate grades of your current status of class, because in eCampus, what happens there is it only sends in all the grades that you've accomplished. In the eCampus, it only records what my math lab sends over. So to figure out what your actual grade is see what chapter. Say you're in chapter 3. So look at all your homework grades. Anything you haven't done, put a 0 in there and take an average of those. That tells you your average of the homework. Then take all the test grades you've taken so far, test 1 and 2 and test 3, and add them all those 4 grades together and divide by 4. Well, and plus your hundreds for the quizzes. So it'd be the 2 quiz grades, the homework, and the 3 exam grades. Add those together and divide by 6, and that tells you your grade in the class so far. All right, so that's how you figure out your grade. People always forget to put the zeros in things that they've overlooked or not done yet. And let me show you, because a lot of people are worried about how will we do the math online when we have, uh, if we have questions. Let me show you. This is what you'll see when we're working online. So I'll ask the question. We'll go to the question that you're. Hello. I'm sorry. Somebody's. Romy. Okay. So if you had a question, does anybody have? I couldn't pull it up. Anybody have the remind quiz questions? The third and fourth ones. So I could.
I have them right here in front of me, actually.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is 2, and then there's a parenthesis sign, 2x plus 3, close parentheses, plus 4, open parentheses, negative 3x minus 1, close parentheses.
Okay. And then number 4.
Number 4 is the sum of 3 and 5 times 2 is.
3 and 5 times 2 is. All right. Let's look at number 3. To begin with, how many of y'all use PEMDAS?
I do. That's what I use.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. The reason I don't like PEMDAS is because if I gave you this question, if I gave you that question, what answer would you get? So when you work it out, there's only 2 possibilities you can get. You're either going to get 4 or 1. The actual answer is 4. Because PEMDAS, I mean, it's not wrong, but that's the way a lot of people were taught. PEMDAS, multiplication comes before division. So a lot of people do this first. 3 times 2 is 6. So 6 divided by 6, they get 1, which is not right. It goes 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So that's right. I'm going to try to get you guys away from using PEMDAS and it's just using the order of operations. That's what today's focus is going to be about. All right. So whenever you have parentheses, can you do anything inside the parentheses first? That's the first thing you always have to look at. And since you have an X there and no X, you can't combine like terms. So to get rid of parentheses, we have to multiply this 2 through there. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 2 times 3 is 6. Positive 4 times negative 3. Positive times negative is negative. 4 times 3 is 12x. Positive times negative is negative. 4 times 1 is 4. You get rid of the parentheses that way. Again, we're going to go through the rules of that in a minute. Once you get rid of parentheses, always do combine like terms. Here's an x, there's an x. This is a negative, that's a positive. Since 12 is bigger than 4, it's going to be a negative. 12 minus 4 is 8. And positive 6 minus 4 is positive 2. And that's how you do that. Now, likewise, on the second one, number 4, the sum. Sum means plus. 3 and 5 times 2. Everybody got that right so far. This is where a lot of people mixed up. You don't go left to right at this point. You don't do 3 plus 5 and 8 times 2. You don't do that because multiplication is more important than addition. So 5 times 2 is 10. What's that? And then we get 13. So a lot of people got 16 first off, which is wrong. The answer is 13. Again, this is why today I'm going to focus on going through the rules of math. Okay, are there any questions about the syllabus itself, so I don't waste our time with that? Because basically, you don't have to send in your proof of work because, I mean, I trust everybody. And secondly, you don't have to attend to a class. Just work at your own pace. If you get stuck anytime during the day or night, send me a message and we'll log on to Zoom or we'll coordinate a Zoom time.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the syllabus, it says it says a project and is that on there? Like
Okay. No.
oh,
The 1350 course. I'm glad you asked, because the 1350 and the 1351 course is the next half.
okay.
They don't have final exams. They will not have final exams per se. The DMAT course will have a final exam over the entire semester, but we'll have reviews, practice sessions before that. But for the education courses, there are no final exams. What you're going to do instead is I'm going to send out next week a process, which you're going to create a short little video of how to teach. You can create, we pretty much can create a lesson plan and show me how to teach any topic that you choose of the topics we covered so far. So from chapters 1 through 6 or 1 through 7, you could pick any of the topics there and give me a short lecture, and then give me what teaks is it using, what method are you going to use, and if there are any shortcuts, those are bonuses. So yeah, so the project there is just going to be a video for the final exam.
Okay.
It's not going to be a long 3 to 5 minutes, and I will send out. Actually, I might have installed it already. It's how to set up a uh, YouTube or a Google Classroom account. So that way you could, once you finish your video, you could upload it and just send me the URL instead of the whole video. Because
Okay.
it's also better for y'all when you graduate and you start applying for jobs. You could send in the URL to the video, and then the future bosses can see your abilities. It's like a interview before the interview.
Okay.
So
I don't
that's why
think
if you
mine.
and if it's not going to be, if you don't like it, delete it and put one up there later on that you really do like.
I don't think mine would be in math though.
No, no. That's a good point. So yeah, so you'll show them something that something you enjoy, your philosophy, because every school always asks, what is your philosophy of education, what is your philosophy of teaching? You could talk about that, you could show it to them, so that way they put a face to a name to a process.
Okay.
So, and that way, because every teacher will eventually have to have an account for their classrooms anyway, so you already beat the buzz right there. So let's begin.
I had another question. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
please. No.
Um, so I wasn't sure if you purposely had it set up like that just so we could basically just send you the question and so you can help us out personally. But do you have it set up where we're unable to see like view an example on my math lab? Because usually I always stick to looking at those. I feel like those are very helpful. Or I'm not sure if we're able to do that with this course.
I mean, if you an example of, um,
On my math lab, since I've taken so many math courses before, there's usually a on my math lab where it's like the settings. It'll say print the problem or it say view an example. And on ours, we don't have that on our
no,
lab.
fine, okay. Now let me. Actually, I'm very glad you asked,
Okay.
because this is what I was trying to get into eCampus with originally, but right, I live in Duncanville and it's pouring down over here right now. So let me see, where is that? There it is. Let me log back on to eCampus, and then I'll show you how we're gonna do the. Okay, it's a very good question. Let me pull up the 030 0305 course. Well, I'll pull it up so y'all can see what I'm looking at. All right, so you see my screen. So yeah, whenever you log on, look for my lab math there on the side, and when you click it, you'll see all the tabs on the right hand side here. You have the math quizzes, homework. I always like to go to view all assignments. If you don't want to scroll for it, you can always go to this purple thing and move it all the way up to the very top if you want. So it's one of the first things where you first get on. It's right there. So when you click all assignments, Okay, and there you have all yours. So, order of operations. If you notice, you have videos and questions. So go over here to questions. What I can do is I can go over here, I'll click on the first question or whatever question you're having trouble with, and it's going to be exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same. The numbers may be different, but you'll just have the same topic that you're looking at having difficulty with. So you call me or send me a message saying I'm having trouble with section 3.1 question 4, and then when we go on Zoom, I'll pull it up and we'll have that question right there. So you can't really show it to me unless you have a camera at your end.
Okay.
This question was removed. Okay, first off, this question was removed. Okay, find the value of the expression. So yeah, then I will write it down. And then we'll go back on the video like I just had it. So that's how we'll do it from now on online. I will do it to all my classes that way.
Okay.
So yeah, don't worry about having to show me what question you're having trouble with. I have it all right here in front of me. So that's how we're gonna do it. So yeah, so I'll write down the question on my end: 27 minus 4 times 4 plus 3, and then I'll switch over to my camera, and then we'll look at it this way. So so that way you'll see and hear everything I'm doing. So that way, yeah, you'll have it's exactly the same way as if we're in a classroom, and this is our chalkboard. What would you all do first here?
The multiplication, right?
Yeah, multiplication first. 27 minus 4 times 4 is 16. Then what?
27 minus 16.
Very good, because yeah, they're on the same level of importance. 27 minus 16 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. Because if you did it the other way, if you did this first, you would have gotten 27 minus 19, which is 8, which is wrong. And that's what I'm going to go to. That's what I'm going to show you why that's wrong in a minute. Okay, before we go with, first off, let's start off with order of operations. Now, it is similar to PEMDAS, but the reason I do not encourage PEMDAS is because the first thing you do is parentheses and exponents. In the order of operations, the first thing you do are special operations. Special operations, it's parentheses, brackets, exponents, absolute values, factorials. There are over 400 different types of special operations instead of just parentheses and exponents. So you work at these first. Second, you do multiplication and division. And lastly, you do addition and subtraction. But math is a language. Because I just put all this stuff into words. And as we do in English, when we read math, we read left to right. So the example we just had, 27 minus 4 times 4 plus 3. Are there any special operations? No. So we finished that. Any addition, multiplication, division? Yes, here's multiplication here. Okay, this is important. This negative belongs to that 4. So they stay together. It's negative 4 times positive 4 is negative 16. So that's very, 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 very important. That's the reason we couldn't do 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3. We couldn't do that because it's negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. This is one number. If you did that, then you can add these two. Negative 16 plus 3 is negative 13. 27 minus 13 is 14, which is the same answer we got earlier. So whenever you do order of operations, always do it in this order. Look across the whole thing, do any special operations first, and then multiplication, division, left to right, and then addition, subtraction. Okay, we'll go through this during the semester as we go through. Now the properties of math. These, okay, the order of operations tells us when to do it. These tells you what we can do. The first property is called the commutative. The commutative property of addition and of multiplication. There are different types of operations here. So, what does to commute mean? When you commute, you're actually moving. So what this one says is x plus y, I can move those around. Y plus x. 3 plus 4 is the same thing as 4 plus 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. So it doesn't matter which order the numbers are, or you can move around if you want to. Same thing with multiplication. X times y is the same thing as y times x. 3 times 4 is the same thing as 4 times 3. They both equal 12. So the commutative property says as long as the signs are the same, you can move them around. Because we'll get to signs later. So x plus y, same thing as y plus x. The second sign is the associative. Associative property of. When you associate, you group. You group things. X plus y plus z is the same thing as x plus y plus z. Is that a true statement? Yes. They are the same. They're the same things, but it is impossible for us to process. Let me see, 3, 4, 5. Same thing as 3 plus 4 plus 5. It's impossible for us to process any more than 2 numbers at one time. So the associative property says whenever you have a series of numbers, you can pick which ones you do first. You can group them. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. 4 plus 5 is 9. 3 plus 9 is 12. So the way you group them is important. Same thing with multiplication. Three times 4 times 5 is the same thing as 3, 4 times 5. This shows us more importantly why we use the order of the associative property in orders. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. To me, this side's much easier. 2 times 3 is 6, and put a 0. With this one, you got to do 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1, add. So there's more chance of mistakes on this side than this side. So the way you pick the numbers is important. The third property, this is for addition and this is for multiplication. The third property, the distributive property, is probably the most important property that we'll use throughout the entire semester, and whenever you use math, because this one combines addition and multiplication. The distributive property, here's multiplication, is A times B plus C. The distributive property, whatever's in front, it's called the coefficient. We distribute whatever is in front, we distribute it to every member inside the parentheses. So since it's multiplication, it's A times B, whatever that sign is, A times C. So that is going this way. The reason this is important because now we can go the other direction. That's distributive, going from left to right, and now we can go from right to left. That's called factoring. So when we factor, what do both of these have in common? They both have an A. So we take out the A, and then whatever's left, we put in parentheses. And this is a very, very, very powerful tool in mathematics. All right, so this is the most important tool. So let's see, here's an example. 3 times 2x plus 4. 3 times 2 is 6x. And 3 times 4 is 12. All right. Now, you notice up until there, we haven't used division or subtraction because it really doesn't work well with subtraction or division. For example, does x minus y equal y minus x? 3 minus 4 equals 4 minus 3. That equals -1. This equals +1. So it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work with this? Is because the sign belongs to the number. The sign belongs to the number. So if you move the number, you have to move the sign with it. So 3 minus 4, since this negative belongs to this 4, if I move the 4 in front, I got to move the sign with it. And the 3 is positive. So 3 minus 4 is -1. -4 plus 3 is -1. Now it works. So when you move the sign, when we move the number, you move the sign as well. Now, this brings us to a question about sign numbers. 4 plus 5, we all know is 9. Or 5 plus 4, same thing. The problem comes when we have signs. Addition is really this. If the signs are the same, then take the common sign and add the numbers. 4 is positive, 5 is positive, so the answer is going to be positive. 4 plus 5 is 9. Negative 3 minus 2. Both of these numbers are negative, so the answer is negative. Then 3 plus 2 is 5. All right, so that's the definition of what addition is. Subtraction is just the opposite. If the signs are different, then take the sign of the larger number and subtract larger number minus smaller number. Five minus 2. Since 5 is positive, 2 is negative, 5 is bigger than 2, the answer is going to be positive. 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative 8 plus 3. 8 is bigger than 3, 8 is negative, the answer is going to be negative. 8 minus 3 is 5. So again, the signs belong to the numbers, but when you do these equations, always do the signs first, because this little sign right here will be the reason most questions are wrong. That little sign will ruin your day. Even when you use distributivity. First thing you do the signs. Negative times negative is a positive. 3 times 4 is 12. X. Negative times positive is negative. 3 times 5 is 15. Y. Negative times negative is a positive. 3 times 2 is 6. So if you do it that way, your chance of you making a mistake with that are very, 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 very slim. So be very careful when you do these type of problems. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, let me put up a problem here. Okay. Work this one out. Whoever gives me the right answer first will get bonus points on a test.